Welcome back to Entrepreneur School. I have an amazing guest today. Her name is Kinsey. Su- Her name is Kinsey, and her last name is a name. Yeah. You know what? I'm
Oh,
keeping
that's
I'm
hilarious.
keeping this intro. Welcome to Laughter in Progress because we were just having this whole thing about last names and how I did not take my husband's last name. So fun fact, it's spelled Kuntz, and I'll just let you mispronounce that because that's what happens, including at my own wedding. So names pronouncing properly is a thing that is important. So Kinsey, what's your last name?
Soderberg, Kinsey Soderberg, but we're cool. We're cool. Y'all can just call me Kinsey. We're casual here.
Kinsey, keeping it casual with Kinsey. We're going to talk all about AI today because Kinsey is the founder of Authentic AI and she is the host alongside another friend, Joyce Hamilton, who is, they're bringing together this amazing summit called the Her AI Era Summit. And that is another tongue twister in and of itself. But I'm excited to be part of that event. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. But mostly, we're talking about women in AI and tech and empowerment and all of the fun things that are super near and dear to my heart. And I'm really excited to have this conversation with you, Kinsey.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Kelly. I'm so excited about this conversation too, not just to like nerd out about AI, but I also, oh man, get fired up when it comes to talking about women using AI, especially. So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be fiery and fun.
Yeah, let's get into that because it's been a really interesting journey for me over the last year to sort of. I basically just recorded an episode for this podcast about how I've just added accidental tech nerd to my bio. And this isn't something that I ever felt very like connected to. I never identified or aspired to be a woman in tech. Um, Tell me your story and your journey into it and how you feel about all these things.
Oh my gosh, that is so cute. And I love that. Yeah, I mean, I do feel like that's the journey for a lot of people, especially when it comes to the AI stuff. I mean, I've always, been somewhat of a computer nerd as far as like I loved like adding code to my MySpace page back in the day or like, just like making it pretty. And I've like loved Canva and just like some techie stuff, but like not been super overly technical or anything like that. But when AI came about, I mean, I still remember I was at like a conference actually for podcasting, and a bunch of people were coming up to me and be like, "Oh my gosh, have you tried ChatGPT? Oh my gosh!" Like everyone was like talking about AI and ChatGPT and all this stuff. And I'll be honest with you, my first reaction when I heard about it was, oh no. Like I was super worried about, isn't the internet fake enough as it is? What's this going to do to our creativity or critical thinking skills? Is AI going to take our jobs or take over the world, right? Like I call them the AI scaries. All of those AI scaries ran through my brain when I first heard about the tool, and I was like kind of grumpy about it and not into it. And then I was on a long drive one day and I had one of those long drive epiphanies where I realized that AI tools are here. And instead of turning away from them or being against them or getting grumpy about them, probably the best thing I could do would be to turn toward them and get curious about how can we use AI tools in a way that aligns with us and works for us without sacrificing our authenticity, our thought leadership, our quality of work, right? I was like, there's a right way to use these tools that aligns with my values and the values of my people. So, like, let's figure out how we can use them to work for us in a way that aligns with us. And that's actually when I just kind of started playing around with AI. I literally just was like, hey, ChatGPT, what's up? What can you help me with? And I really honed how we can train the tools to think and sound like us, right? Because that's one of those big things that I think a lot of us deal with when we first start using AI is that frustration that comes with, why doesn't it sound like me? Or like you're trying to get it to write you an Instagram caption and like it writes you something that's totally off base, like overly generic or overly cheesy. And you go back and forth with it, trying to get it to give you what you want. And like it just won't. And you're like, I could have done this faster if I just did it myself, right? Like, That's what a lot of people run into. But there's ways that you can train the tool in an in-depth way to really get you and then produce results that actually feel like you from the get-go, right? So that's kind of what I've honed with my brand now, Authentic AI, because yes, I decided to fully go for it, pivot into AI. And yeah, that's what I teach entrepreneurs nowadays.
I love that starting with curiosity, that's such an important mindset to approach all of this with, especially because it's a kind of a tool that doesn't have rules, right? It's not like there's a specific structure that you have to do. It has its own brain in a way where it can approach things from a variety of different ways, and you just need to figure out the best way to support it in helping it to give you what you want in the way that you want it, which means you also need to know what you want and how you want it, and that's a whole other decision making process to go through, right?
Yeah, yeah, totally. Oh my gosh, I love how you said that too, because that's one of those big mistakes that I think a lot of people make when they first start using the tool. Like a lot of people are obsessed with like the prompting, right? They're
Mhm.
like, "Ooh, let me get the perfect prompt or teach me how to be a master prompter or whatever." And I'm kind of like, eh. Like it's not as much about the prompt. Like, yeah, understanding how to prompt the tool is helpful for a lot of like specific use cases too and stuff, but it's more about exactly telling it everything it needs to know in order to do the best job for you. And so I actually call that a human first approach, where instead of just trying to worry about the prompt and just going to the tool and being like, do this for me, instead you just start with yourself, your own thoughts, opinions, beliefs, perspectives, share that with the tool along with the context for the task that you're trying to get it to do for you, and then ask it to do the thing. And that's how I've found to get the best results, exactly what I'm looking for from it from the get go, instead of then going into that frustrating spiral of going back and forth with it and it's not giving you what you want. You know what I mean?
Totally. I love that approach. I feel like that's exactly what I do as well.
Mhm.
It's kind of like just brain dumping everything that is relevant,
Mhm.
and it has anticipatory abilities to try and say, okay, just like verbally spat everything out of me. And I love to use that dictate button because I am very verbal
Mhm.
personally. And then getting it to distill all of that into something is like, what's the question that I'm asking? What is the way like that I can do this? Rather than, as you're saying, like if we're focused on figuring out what a prompt is, then there's a filter already in place before we even get into trying to do the task at hand.
Mhm. Yes, totally. And so exactly. It's like, and I love, okay, this is what I think is so fun too, because a lot of times one of the bigger concerns for me when I like first heard about the tools, honestly, was not Terminator future robots taking over the world. And it wasn't even like generic results or anything like that. My biggest concern was critical thinking and creativity, right? I was like, oh, what does this mean for our culture and our society as like humans, and like how we cultivate our creativity and our brains, our critical thinking skills and stuff. And it's so funny using the tools. Like, yes, you can totally let AI turn you into a mindless sheep and like you can like let it do all the thinking for you and whatnot. But when you use a human first approach and you work with it in like a collaborative way and you share your creative ideas with it and then it comes back at you, it actually helps to expand and hold space for more creativity in my experience. And actually, with the way I kind of use the tool, making sure I'm intentionally practicing my critical thinking skills every time I'm using ChatGPT, because we all know that like, yeah, it knows a lot, but it doesn't know all. It doesn't always get the facts right. And then also, it doesn't always know what's exactly right for you or your brand. So it's really important to critically think about the responses that it's giving you so that you make sure that your brand does stay aligned, right? And so, but it's funny to think about how we can actually grow, cultivate more creativity, practice our critical thinking skills with AI. You just have to be intentional about it, you know?
I 100% agree with that. That is like the fact that we grew up and we built those critical thinking skills as humans right now. We have an opportunity to really access and expand our own abilities with a tool that can support versus a whole other conversation about how this is going to affect like kids and people who are, coming into the world not developing those skills before this sort of system existed, but we don't need to get into that and what that might look like, but I have some
Yeah.
concerns and feelings about that for sure too.
Well, Kelly, I'll be honest with you. I mean, that's one of the reasons that Joyce and I are so excited to host this summit. That's one of the reasons that both of us like feel so powerfully about making sure that we are helping more women use AI tools, right? Because that's definitely a concern of mine. And I really think that it's just about being intentional. We just need to be intentional as a society and a culture of how we are teaching our kids to use these tools. And the reason that I relate that to women is because honestly, it's going to take a lot of moms' voices and like women teachers' voices, like speaking up and like being a part of the conversation for how AI is integrated into our society, right? And so it's one of those things where, I mean, women in general, like we are empathetic. We tend to care about social issues. We care so much about our children and our children's education. And like when we can start using the tools more, when we can feel empowered to use these tools, when we can be a part of the conversation and understand the issues that are at play here, then we're really going to do a lot to like shape the future of AI, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely. And so the summit, let's talk about that for a minute because you're bringing together what, 50 plus different training sessions that are going to I'm so excited to like learn from everybody else too because it is like one of those things that everybody's explored their own methods and their own ways and taking a little tip from each person is going to be so helpful.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Her AI Era Summit. It's exactly what it sounds like, guys. We're stepping into her AI era, your AI era. It's women focused, it's women led, it's women collaborated, right? So yeah, we're like right around the 60 mark for 60 women expert leaders who are using AI tools in your business. We have 5 different tracks: marketing, creative, system and ops for my back end systems girls like me, monetization, and then actually empowerment as well, because we want to make sure that we're coming together and really realizing what this all means and how we can make a difference with AI. And oh my gosh, like, I know as like the speaker presentations have been being submitted and I'm setting up the back end and stuff, I'm like, I cannot wait to like watch this presentation, or oh my gosh, this is so good. Like you guys are all talking about using AI in such creative ways or like empowering ways. And it's making me so excited to host this and to also like bring all these awesome powerhouse women together in one summit to then train, to help to teach and train other women just easy ways we can use AI tools in our businesses and like how much it's going to impact like our life too.
Oof, yeah, it's going to be incredible. And I'm so excited for you to bring this together. And for those listening, there's a link in the show notes. You can grab a free spot. And if it's past the time that it's free, it'll still be a super valuable resource that you should definitely look into if you're, curious about expanding your AI knowledge and skills in all of these areas.
Yes, yes, yes. Would you mind if I shared a few statistics about women using AI tools that I have up my sleeve?
Absolutely.
Girl, because this is where I go off, right? Because this is one of those things
Welcome to my
where
time.
I know, right? I know, get out the soapbox. Okay, guys. So literally, this is why it fires me up so much, and this is why I'm so freaking excited to host this summit that is fully focused on women and like bringing together so many amazing women powerhouses to then like lead the way and like help cultivate more interest in AI tools, right? But long story short, there have been studies done that men are 2 times more likely to use the top 50 AI tools than women. And this is an issue because AI tools have been proven to boost your productivity by up to 40%, which is like working 2 extra days per week. So if you think of this in terms of like the workplace, if more men are using AI tools than women, well, who's getting more done? Who's more likely to get that promotion or that pay raise? The gender income gap is like dramatically increasing instead of decreasing like we've been working at for so many years, right? But then there's also the fact that AI tools are at this point trained by the people who are using them. So if
Mm.
more men are using AI tools than women, well, AI tools are getting more input from like a masculine leaning perspective. They're getting more masculine leaning language, right? And I always say, like, AI tools need our freaking empathy, guys. They need to know, like, how women speak. They need to know what women care about, right? And so, the more women can use AI tools, the more we are actually helping to shape the way these AI tools think, which then will be so influential for our society, right? And so, it's really, really important that more women use AI tools. But I'll tell you what really lights me up, Kelly, or fires me up, I should say, for sure, is the reason why more men are prone to using AI tools than women, right? And of course, it's like cultural things like women have been less welcome in STEM subjects, science and math, and like we've kind of been raised to not feel as techy as men in general, right? But there's this, I still remember, like I can still picture it. The first time a woman was interviewing me on her podcast about AI tools, and she looks at me and she goes, "So what do you say to the women who feel guilty for using AI tools, who feel like they're
Oh,
cutting corners or they're not doing the work?" And that was exactly my reaction. Kelly's like gasping and like because I was like, "Oh, this is a thing and it's so much bigger than AI. It's just manifesting itself in the way women are using AI." But it's truly like the fact that women have always had to work twice as hard to earn half the respect and success as men. We've always had to show that we are working hard in order to be worthy of respect and success, right? And of course, it makes sense that women thinking about using AI tools, well, when we use them, maybe it feels like we're not doing the work, like we're cheating, like we're cutting corners, or maybe we're just afraid that we're going to be judged for using AI tools, and we're not willing to sacrifice that because we have put so much work into the businesses that we're building. Like we don't want to be building our businesses and earned all this success and respect, and then all of a sudden use a tool and be like, "Oh, she's not doing the work," and be written off or anything like that, right? And like here's the thing, you guys. What we really need to do is talk with each other as women and help to flip the script within us, right? This is a tool that we can use to help us, to create more space in our lives, to make more money for our family, to find more time and freedom to actually enjoy our lives, right? AI tools can be so, so helpful. And I think for women, especially who have always been the ones to carry the load at work and at home, like of anyone in the world, women and marginalized people deserve to freaking use AI tools because for the first time in history, we actually have an opportunity to level the playing field with our male counterparts that we have never ever had in the past. And actually, the more we can use AI tools, wow, we have an opportunity here to skyrocket to use a ChatGPT generic word, but skyrocket ourselves like kind of to the same playing field as men and actually have a ginormous impact in how our future is shaped, right? So that's kind of like one of the reasons why I'm like her AI era summit is like so so important for Joyce, for me, and for all of us. Like it just makes me feel like this is a movement. It's not necessarily like just a summit. You know what I
mm.
mean?
And damn, am I on board with this movement? Like, I have like a full body reaction to everything that you just said there. I did not even consider this whole like guilt in using the tool because we have that ingrained in us. Like, you have to work hard. Work is
Hmm.
hard. Work must be hard. And something bringing ease into your life is like, I reject this. Like, this is not normal. I should consider how I feel about this. And as you said that, I was reflecting on a recent like panel discussion I listened in on with a group of like professional copywriters talking about how they're using AI, also all women. But there was still a big resistance around using it for the final output of the thing that they're the expert in. Right? So I get this too, but, I've just shifted my own thinking on it, and maybe this is kind of the mindset approach that we have to consider, which is
Yep.
if I can help a client create a visibility strategy, which this is something like communication strategy, marketing strategy, visibility strategy, it's all the same thing. And I've been doing it for over 15 years. And I used to work in a PR firm where it would take me 20 hours. We build hourly, so I know this. It would take me 20 hours to give you a document that was maybe 8 pages long that said, this is
Mhm.
what you should do, this is why you should do it, this is how we should focus, blah, blah, blah. I can now create a way more expansive version of this same kind of thing in a couple of hours by
Mhm.
using a tool to help me just expand, expand, expand on these thoughts. Like, here's all my thoughts. It's my thinking, but it's just like making it written for me so that I can communicate it back to the client. We have something to work with. Right. So, this is like, to me, this is like so much more valuable as an output and what I can deliver in helping me do what I do in my job, and I can do more of it and I can help more people. And I take that approach, right? That is like an enabling tool to support with my bigger mission as a business owner, which is to help more entrepreneurs to
Mhm.
do more and be able to live their life and have a business that supports it. Right. And so that other piece that you said around the time that you can get back from this, like, and how you can turn that into doing things that are more important to you, like, oh, we've had this conversation on the podcast a lot. It's the whole reason that I created a bundle called Ease and Alignment with AI. Same damn reason.
Oh, yes, lady. Mic frickin' drop there because for sure, like, okay, and I want to point out a few things too that you said that I think are just like so important to drive home is okay. Firstly, like when you use an AI tool to get your slog work done more quickly and or just like get the work done that you would have done anyway, right? Which is so true. When you bring your own perspective, your frameworks, your strategies, your thoughts to the tool, it just helps you to get to the end result you would have gotten to anyway, just like friggin' 10 times or 20 times faster, right? And like exactly, you save 18 hours like now per client. Like how crazy and amazing is that? Because again, then you can reinvest that not only increases your capacity for impact, and also increases your wealth, which then women in general tend to reinvest for impact instead of just keep buying sports cars or whatever, right? Which is another reason I'm very excited about more women making more money with the help of AI tools. But like it increases your capacity, it does all those things and stuff. And on top of that too, one of the things I've really been thinking about. Okay, so I think you're going to love this. I created this AI, I'm calling it the Automagical Playbook Generator. And it's kind of like a next level thing too, right? Which is kind of fun because the summit that we're hosting is like also about next level strategies, right? It's for those people who are already using AI tools and you're like, okay, what else can I do? Like, I love ChatGPT. How can I use this in my business in the next level, right? And so, like, this is actually something I'm going to be speaking on at the summit, but I created this Automagical Playbook Generator. It literally takes my client's intake form and it sends my client's intake form through a sequence of AI prompts that are like built on my strategy and my framework and stuff. It's kind of like the prompting process I would have used with ChatGPT manually, but I've just like automated it at this point, and it's pretty cool because like out on the other end pops out a playbook that like within 5 minutes that I then deliver to my clients, and we actually hop on a call and discuss it, which is kind of a fun little human touch point. But I forget why I brought this up in the first place or was a point, but now I'm just like getting distracted by AI tools
Yes,
and
just
systems.
like we were just talking about, like, streamlining things so that you can have a bigger impact, and this goes back to
Yes.
your human first approach to AI because it gives
Mhm.
you then the time to be able to provide, like, even if you're thinking about how your offers may have shifted as a business
Yep.
coach in whatever kind of capacity, if you do, like, now you can bring all of this done for you stuff into like strategy, and to me, now it's like I'm also now able to give you like the easy button of delivering and implementation because now we can
Yes.
use AI tools to say, okay, for me, it's like, here's your visibility strategy. Let's talk about it, make sure it feels aligned for you. How do we get there? Here's like all of these different custom GPTs, tools, whatever, how we're building out, pitching you on podcasts, fine, doing research, all of these things. Not, no, okay,
Yeah.
here's a strategy. Now, good luck. It's hard now.
Yep. Yes. Oh my gosh, you just brought up a totally another amazing point. Okay, the point I was gonna say before too, I totally remembered is like the fact that like I don't have to do the copy pasting and like like all of
Yeah.
the manual slog work that then my AI has just like generated the strategy. I can then take my fresh brain to the strategy that I would have created anyway, but by the end of like creating that strategy, I would have been like so mentally drained, right? And I would have just been like, okay, here you go, guys. Like I like created this for you, but like,
It would still be
instead
great. It would still
it's
be
still
great
great,
because you made it.
but yeah, it would still be great. And like now I'm actually able to put fresh eyes on a
Mhm.
strategy that I would have generated anyway and like actually do more creative, higher level thinking on like the strategy. So like I think it's pretty cool to think about the fact that like sometimes people are afraid that like AI is going to devalue your work and or maybe I should charge less because it's like taking me less time now and all that different stuff. And I like to point out to people, well, actually, like when you get an AI to help you with like the foundational work and then you can bring your brain on top of it, actually, you're probably producing like you're able to produce a better result because you have more capacity for higher level thinking in that way. You know what I mean? It can actually be a little bit more valuable, I think.
Oh, I totally agree with that. And these are such really, really good like nuances to consider. Like we're unpacking all the things that may be going on in people's brains about, how to ethically, responsibly, intentionally, all these words use tools like this. And what are some of the roadblocks that we may be facing without even maybe knowing it? So I love that we're kind of like just stripping through that right now to say, okay, so the flip side of this is you could be creating so much more value if you were using AI. You could be having more time to spend with your family if you were using AI. You could be more energized and not be so empty at the end of the day if you were using AI in more strategic, impactful, effective ways.
Yes, girl. Exactly. And like that's a I kind of like I don't know if like you've chatted about kind of climate impact of AI tools on this show or anything. It's something that pops up sometimes for people with me too and stuff. And it's kind of one of those things again where the opportunity for impact when you're using AI tools is so much huger. And like with climate impact and stuff, like, yeah, it's an issue. And like, it's one of those things where women, again, are the people who care the most. And if women aren't using AI tools and increasing their capacity for impact, for reinvesting in nonprofits, things that can help the climate and like actually make a difference when it comes to the company and corporate level, right? Like that sort of stuff. Again, it's just like, I honestly think that the more women who use AI tools, we're going to have more energy, more capacity, more wealth, more impact. We're going to just like literally change the world. And that's again why it's just so important.
Oh yeah, and I mean that's who's listening to this show because anybody who's coming into my world, like we're talking about that whatever it is that you do, like you may be an expert at, you know, any number of things, and it doesn't matter what it is. But what you're trying to do is help people with what you do.
Mhm.
Like that's who's listening. We're helpers, we're service based, like heart centered entrepreneurs. And so at the end of the day, you have a bigger mission where your heart is, and this is a tool to help you fulfill that in a more impactful way. Like, kind of full stop. Yes, there's all these little details to think about, and there's a lot of things, like, as an industry and, like, as a culture that we need to consider that are coming, up with the development of, this technology, but, you have your role to play as a human. Like, we can only make the impact that we can make and the decisions that feel alignment for us.
Yeah. Yeah, and whatever it is that you like, that's the thing. Whatever it is that, like, lights you up, that fires you up, that you care about in your life, with the world, with your kids, with any like, what is important to you, AI can help you create more space, energy, time, money to, like, make whatever, like, impact that you want to make in the world, right? And, like, that's what I always, like, remember, and that's a shift that I like to make for women especially because, like, we hold ourselves back, even sometimes, I find myself I hold myself back with AI every day. I'm like I have like now that I'm aware of it, I'm kind of like trying to be aware of it and stuff. But it's the little things like, oh, well, I'll use AI for client research, but I'm not gonna like use it for the final deliverable. And or oh, I'm gonna use ChatGPT to help me like plan my content, but then I need to write the captions, or I'm gonna rewrite all the captions that ChatGPT writes for me. Or it's like for me, my what I was holding myself back with a lot was kind of like automation with AI and stuff, like taking that next step of like automating. I think because I was afraid that would like take the human out of my brand and stuff like that. But it's like remembering that like no, you can incorporate human touch points wherever you want to incorporate human touch points into an AI automation. Like let's make this deliverable in 5 frickin' minutes. And guess what? Like with my auto-generated playbook thing, like like when you have one-to-one client calls or whatever, and you're supposed to fill out the intake form, 48 hours beforehand or 72 hours, so I can have time to review, guys. Like that's what I always tell people. And you always have the people who are like, I'm sorry, I forgot to like fill it out, or like it's like 2 hours before. They're like, I'm sorry, I just filled it out. Let me know if it's a problem or whatever. And like it used to be a problem when I was doing like strategies myself, but with AI, like now it's not. And it's just kind of fun to think about like how client experience can improve with AI too, which is the other amazing point that you made, where that's something that I love. Oh man, I love geeking out with you about this because like I used to teach online courses, and people knew I was delivering like great value, and I was like teaching them how to do the thing, and I was trying to make it as structured, step by step, easy as possible. But still it's so hard for people to take action on a concept that's like new and that you still don't understand, right? It's always like, okay, I hear what you're saying about branding, Kins, but like, I don't know what that looks like for my specific brand, right? And that's
Mm.
where like AI tools are so freaking helpful for helping your people do the dang thing and like get over that hump of like, I don't know how this applies to my brand. Well, guess what? Let's ask ChatGPT. It can help apply my framework to your brand. Here we go.
Oh, yeah, like, the number of templates and examples and things that I've gotten in courses before, and then I just, like, I can't brain myself into, like, figuring how this works for me, and then I can give it to ChatGPT, and it's like, "Oh, this is exactly how we would write this with your language." I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting." Okay, but I wanna pick up on a couple things that you just said. One is how, like, amazing to surprise and delight your clients within, like, a 5-minute like return on here's a thing that I just made you so fast, and they have something to reflect on. And now you can have a better conversation, a deeper conversation. You're not just
Hmm.
like, I think this is like one thing, and this kind of what I'm actually talking about on your summit, which is, you know, changing changing forms into interactive experiences. And I decided to do that instead of sending a form to a client, I made a GPT to walk them through the form so it was more prompting. I don't know about you, but I really feel like when there's a box there that you have to fill out, like literally, you're like, I don't know, maybe this. And instead of now it can react to your response and say, yeah, have you also considered this? Or you can say, I don't know, and then it can give you ideas. And I sent when I sent that to the first client that went through it, she came back And also having not been like someone to use AI a lot herself, she's like, I've never felt so seen. Like that my onboarding bot like gave her this feeling of empathy and understanding, and I've seen the conversations that they've had and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, what this can do and how it like inspires a deeper level of information extraction even."
Mhm.
That sets us up as coaches and strategists to have more context to be able to deliver a better result as well.
Mhm. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Girl, oh yeah, I remember because 'cause I've been doing all the behind the scenes of the summit, like, putting your speaker pages together and stuff, and I saw Kelly's, topic, and I was like, "Oh, girl, Imma be hitting that up to see what's up because I love that concept too, and exactly, like, ah, it's so cool to think about how AI can, like, provide such a customized, personalized experience to our people, like, help people feel seen in ways that, like, we haven't been able to do before because we, again, haven't had the capacity, right? And
Mhm.
that's, again, another somewhat I mean, I'm talking a lot about men and women, and it is, like it's not, like, super binary or anything like that, but, like, again, women do tend to, like, care more about helping people feel seen. It's, again, the empathy in us. It's how we were raised to, like, support people, right? And that's something that we definitely care about in our businesses more often. And to think about, like, the fact that AI can give you that opportunity,
Mhm.
like, to provide a better customer experience to your clients in that way, especially, like, that's another reason why, like, AI is so freaking awesome for women, especially.
Ugh. So, so many good things here. I love this conversation so much, Kinsey. And everyone's call to action from this episode is to make sure that you check out the Her AI Era Summit. It's going to be incredible. Like, block off October 13th to 17th in your calendar because you're just going to want to like learn all the time. Because this is a kind of learning I don't know about you. I feel like both of us are speaking at a much higher frequency that we even started this conversation, even though we literally started with laughter. It's so exciting, like, the number I just feel like there's so much momentum and so much stuff happening, like, my mind is exploding so many times every single day, which makes working more fun. It, like, makes my day happier. I'm excited, when my kids come home from school and I, like, feel the energy, and then that pours over into the other parts of my life. Did you have any last words? Like, I feel like we could just continue this conversation for 100 more years, but like, how do you
Uh
want to wrap this up?
Oh, lady. No, I mean, I think that that was, like, such a great little point that you just made at the end too, and that's, like, something I know we could nerd out forever, side note, but, like, that's something that I have felt too, right? Is, like, actually, AI helps to keep me motivated. It's one of those things where I didn't think about it until it was like a 2020 hindsight sort of situation. I think I was, like, reflecting on my 2024 year or something even so, at this point, it's way back then, but, like, I went through the year of 2024 and I was like, "Man, I know I'm doing a lot of stuff, but, I didn't really keep track of how much I was doing because I was just going, and stuff." And by the end of 2024, I realized, holy crap, I'd been saving an average of 3 hours a day, 15 hours a week, and 70 hours every month with AI tools. And because of that, I did so much more than I have ever done in my business in the past, like, previous 4 years. You know what I mean? And, like, putting out new offers, doing lots of collabs, doing podcast interviews, creating more content, showing up more consistently than ever before. And I realized when I was reflecting, wow, I didn't drive myself into burnout once, which, like, usually was, like, at least once a year, if not multiple times a year in the previous years before that. I could depend on burnout coming at some point throughout my year. And I was like, huh, I just did so much and I was motivated. I had more freedom. I actually took the weekends off. I started a crafting hobby, right? Like, I would not have made time for before. I'm like, "Oh, wow." Like, AI actually, like, can improve your day to day and, like, carry the workload. It can carry the creative load, it can carry the energy load that like and I wasn't experiencing that creative drain, that energy drain that I used to. And like that alone is so worth it. But anyway, guys, come to the summit, please.
Yes. Um, and I feel like just because okay, I was like, "Would you like to have the last word?" And now I'm gonna, like, swoop in and have the
Go
last
for
word
it, girl.
because because I wanna say that your this conversation with you is, like, bringing up something else for me, which is just in my own journey this year, like 2025, I declared only if it's a hell yes. Like that is my like mantra and how I'm moving through this year and honestly now for the rest of my life because it has been so good. And that is accepting ease is okay. Right? Like, this is the thing to let go of, and for me that I am accepting, like, let it be easy. Let your business be easy. Let creating the strategy be easy. Let doing that client research be easy. Let it be easy. AI is such a huge part of that for me, and I want more people to feel the benefits of having that ease accessible in your business and in your life.
I love that so much. Thank you so much, Kelly. This has been like so fun. Literally, and like everything you're saying, I'm just like the double hands emoji in the air and stuff. So I'm so grateful to you. I'm so grateful to you for being a part of our summit too. And like your amazing training is gonna be so awesome. And like also just like grateful for you being another woman in the AI space using AI tools and just like helping more women use AI tools too.
Well, thank you for being here, and thank you to you and Joyce for hosting this summit. It's an incredible resource for everybody listening. So make sure that you check the show notes for the link, and we will see you there.